All right, Grasshoppers. This is the great Mark Puttenvink, and we need to address how honored we are to have him. He is in severe pain right now after his surgery. He's smiling right now. You're tough, man. You're in pain, and when did you have the surgery? Is it like a week and a half ago?
10 days.
10 days ago, right? Yeah, wow. So still in quite a bit of pain.
Oof, yeah.
To get you smiling away, too. Yeah. Sitting there in pain, you tough son of a gun.
Right. My Franken beans are completely black and blue.
Oh, is that right? Eh? Oh, use the powder bags.
Yeah, it's
so this is Mark Puttenvink. Just so people don't know, he's got a company called Patriot Training Systems, where he trains everybody, Navy SEALs, lots of people in the military, police officers, women, kids, men. You can train anybody. Who do you enjoy training the kids?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You know, there was a time when I got to admit, you know, sometimes you get a little bit. I thought I was above it, and then I went, "What? These kids are great, man."
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, that was a long time ago, but
right.
My ego got in the way a little bit.
Oh, is that right? Eh? Yeah. It's very rewarding, right? If you're making a difference in kids' lives.
It's incredible. And you know, I can proudly say I've been doing it long enough. I got guys that are adults now that I trained and still communicate with me, because sometimes it's not just the training, you know.
Right.
Not that I'm probably not great role model, but you do your best. Yeah.
Same thing with me, my coach, and I've got a young guy I'm really proud of. Well, proud of a lot of guys, but this Max Como, I think I talked about before. He'd gone through the Army and everything like that. He was the kid that was always getting penalties in the games, but he was always sticking up for his teammates. So I loved him. Their parents couldn't figure out why I liked him so much, but I think, well, yeah, he's a kid. He doesn't know how to control it all the time. He's doing it for the right reason. There's one game where he had gotten 4 penalties and 5 was going to get him a suspension. So I sat him on the bench. And he was one that took the glove off, put it on the end of his stick, and made the middle finger stick up, and then stuck it in front of the referee's face. The referee looked at me. It was one of the funniest scenes, because he looked at me and we both started dying laughing. He says, "I got to throw him out." I said, I don't blame him, bitch. You got to get him. It was pretty cool.
You know, coaching is different than training. So coaching over the years, I can tell you how many times there were guys at, like, the beginning of the season, kids walk into the lobby or walk into the locker room and you just go, "This is going to be a fun kid," because he's got that little bit of something going on, but it's going to be fun.
It's funny. So when he was getting recruited, or went to the recruiter to go into the Army, I guess I had met the kid when he was a kid. The recruiter was a kid. There was a Ranger, a Kings fan, and all the kids would stand out there and ask for sticks. And I guess me being the smart ass or a hard ass would say to them, they would just be, "Give me." And I'd say, "What do you want? What do you say to get the stick?" And I guess I spoke to him this one time. He says, "May I please have the stick?" So when Max Como put on his me as a reference on his to get enlisted in the Army, he put my name, and the guy looked at it. He says, "You kidding me? At the Tom Lane, I played for the Kings." And he told Max the story. Max was dying laughing, because I had to be a bit of a hard ass with Max too. You know,
that's awesome. That's incredible.
So and the kid actually said, "I've never acted like that again. I always say yes, please, and thank you, and all like that."
You know, and that's where it all breaks down. When you don't do that, that's when things.
Yeah, that's where you hear these stories and you realize you are making a difference in kids' lives, even if it's just a small thing, right?
I told both my boys when they were little, like, I don't care where we are. When somebody comes over and said, "What would you like?" You don't say, "I'll have." It's, "May I please have." It's not that hard, and it kind of gets you going in the right direction.
Yeah, especially when you're working, like you're in a restaurant and the waiter comes over and everybody else is being rude to the waiter and you're nice and polite. I mean, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Mark, will you be back in action for the Warriors golf outing in October?
I will be there, but I will not be in action. And that's really not due to the surgery, Barry, because we're going to be, our main goal, Ted and myself, we're going to be running around promoting, and we got a lot going on. But could I play then? No.
Yeah. Are you a golfer anyways? You know,
well, no, I wouldn't say a golfer. I'm somebody who goes and tries to play golf a bit. Yeah.
There you go. So we have the Ranger Alumni Golf Tournament today as well. Barry Beck is in town. I haven't seen him yet. And we were supposed to see, he's not feeling well. He was supposed to go to the tournament. I was just going to go to the dinner tonight. So I've got to run over. It's very close. It's Westchester Country Club. So pretty cool.
I love the game. I love playing it. I'm just, it's a game. You got to play. You got to play a lot.
Oh, no. I don't go near it. I ride around the golf cart and make fun of everybody else. That's my job. So.
But you could spice it up. Like every once in a while, we'll play full contact.
We were at a golf tournament probably about 4 years ago. And I did golf all day long. And a really nice gentleman was there with his kids and a couple of colleagues. And they kept asking me all day long to golf. So we got near the last hole. There's like a 30-foot putt. I said, okay, so I'll do it one time. So I was getting really cocky too. I gave them instruction. Okay, here's how you do it. You line it up, So I hit the ball. It goes right in the hole, 30 feet too, So they're all going nuts. So I go run towards this one guy, like I'm going to chest bump him. And he's a smaller guy. The look in his face was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die right now.
See, but that's like gambling when you got to walk away.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. We're done here.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty funny. Yeah. When it went in the hole, I was like, I don't know how the heck I did that.
I enjoy it. It's a great day. It's a long day, but it's fun.
Yeah. And then they have the dinners, and the dinners are a lot of fun too. I'm assuming, I think this is accurate. The current team is actually going to be there. They usually are there, but because of COVID, the last couple of years, they were not there. So.
Yeah. So we have that golf outing coming up October 10. If anybody is interested in going, just hit me up. But it's it's for the New Jersey Warriors. It's going to be a great, outstanding event.
Good. I just I should have said something in the last show I did with Kevin. I'll find out. We may not do a show on Wednesday with Kevin. I just want to announce to everybody because we get that film crew coming in from Canada to film it. Pretty cool stuff. This Ryan Phillips, if you follow him online, really motivational guy. I don't know if he wants that much of a story. He'll tell his own story. When they film this thing, it's going to be on Amazon Prime too, so it'll be pretty interesting. His business colleague's a fantastic woman. She's really into meditation and all this yoga stuff and everything. She's a very positive person. CeeLo English is her name. And I think her company, she's online as well on Instagram and Facebook. Living Well Vancouver, I think it's called Living Well. I'll get that address for you too. She's fantastic to follow, very positive person. So 2 new friends.
Awesome. Good stuff.
So you wanted to touch on something. What was that you wanted to touch on?
Well, so the travel season has begun for hockey, youth players. And I got a call from a dad the other day, and I had trained his son over the summer. And he said, hey, now that the season starts, what should he be doing? So, we often talk about the off-season training, but we leave behind the in-season training. And with hockey, it's kind of difficult because you play so many games. Even the youth players now are playing, 3-4 games a week. So it doesn't leave a lot of time between practice and games to get some training in. Mm-hmm. And the old school of thought, Tom, used to be, particularly in football, and again, football is different because it's a once-a-week event, and you have all week to kind of recuperate and get ready for the next game. But it was what you would do is 2 days a week, 5 sets of 5, but 5 sets of 5 like squat, deadlift, bench press, and then that's it. I think that would work for football. I think for hockey, because it's more of a skilled game, there's much more involved in it, and it changes from conditioning and what you need for strength as well. I think you'd be better off doing a circuit twice a week.
Sure.
A total body circuit, and include some athletic movement. And what I mean by that is if you're in the squat rack, after you get done with your set of squats, you step to the side and you do some squat jumps or some lunges or something that replicates something you're going to do on the ice. Sure. Or you do some, you get done doing some deadlifts, step off to the side, go through a ladder with a hockey-specific foot drill, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so you want to remain athletic. And the biggest thought you have to have in the off season is it's just maintenance. It's maintenance for all that hard work you did in the off season.
Yeah.
And studies. I'm sorry.
That's pretty cool with the ladder. You mentioned the ladder. When I helped coach the girls' high school team this year, the head coach, Brooke, she had them use the ladder a lot. And it was fantastic to watch. I really hadn't utilized it much, but it was fantastic to watch the progression, both mentally and physically. When they first start off, the teenage girls, so they're kind of a little bit embarrassed if they couldn't do it right or, trip or whatever. And then, and one girl, there's a few actually would say, I can't do that. I can't do that. By the end of the season, well, not even in the season, halfway through the season, now they're not just doing it, but they're doing it well. And they're like, you can see the growth in them, like the confidence they got from that. That's cool.
Yeah. I think in the during the season, off season too, but more so in season, you want to, so for instance, I used to put guys on a bike, and as they're sitting there riding that Cybex bike, I'd have a tennis ball and we'd play catch. So what's a big thing we're always telling everybody in hockey? Keep your feet moving when you have the puck.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it would force the player operate up here and keep his feet moving.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then it would get to a point, Tom, I'd say, have him shut his eyes and say now, and the ball would come. Or I'd say now, and her eyes are shut. And I said left, they got catcher with left hand and right hand. So you can really build upon it, right?
Oh.
And so, you and I often talk about how we don't want to look at conditioning as punishment.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for growth to get in better shape.
Right. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, athletic element, it really brings it up another level.
Yeah, that is true too, right? Like and I was bad in the past too. I would skate kids sometimes if they did something wrong, if they weren't working hard enough or disciplined. It was, yeah. And I think back about now, what? God, yeah, like make them love conditioning. Like we talked before about Herb Brooks brought in that Jack Blatherwick, and we loved him because it was all planned. There was no coaches bag skates or anything like that. And I don't think Herbie ever went against that either. No matter how mad he was, I think he always stuck to. He felt so strongly about the conditioning part that he stuck with it. Yeah.
You know, and again, there's so much on the internet now. USA Hockey has a lot of stuff out there for in-season training or off-season training. But the big thing is, you know, find 2 days a week, keep it brief.
Yeah.
30 minutes to 40 minutes tops, probably more toward that 30 minutes. Get in some conditioning work that's athletic, and then also do a little bit of maintenance training for your resistance work. So that would be squats, it would be deadlifts, lunges, some pull-ups, things of that nature.
Yeah, very cool. Which
brings me to my second thing I wanted to talk about, the bench press. The bench press.
You don't like the bench press, do you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because it's it's strictly a bodybuilding movement. And if you're bodybuilding, you have to bench press. There's no two ways around it. Two things. I want anybody to take a look at most hockey players with their shirt off.
Yeah.
They're going to be flat chested.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but most will be.
Yeah.
Because you're not on your back making this movement with 200 pounds on it. It's just not.
And not very often are you pushing away like that either, right? Shoulder work. And
I mean, you do push off a little bit, but not with that type of, and you're not on your back.
Yeah.
Totally. So you're on your feet. So and the other thing I want to emphasize, whether it's off season or in season, your core group of movement. And what I mean by core is not the core, but the core being the foundation of your work. Everything should be from a standing athletic position.
Yeah.
Meaning presses, pulls, squats, lunges. Because everything's from the waist down in hockey and all sport, really. It's all rotational. All your power comes from your hips down. So going back to the bench press, if you're a bodybuilder, it's a great thing to do. You need to do it. If you're a power lifter, it's one of the lifts. You have to do it. But I'll tell you what, I don't know for sure, but Olympic lifters that all they do are the two lifts, clean and snatch, and the jerk. I don't think they do any bench pressing.
Yeah.
Because it's not applicable to what they're doing.
Yeah. Totally, yeah. And it's hard on your shoulders too, isn't it?
It is a shoulder. It's an orthopedic surgeon's dream. It's a new pool every summer.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. That's true too. And I've stayed away from the bench press I haven't done much of that.
Tom,
I was doing that West Side Barbell series, and I obviously got bench press for that too. But
yeah, he's a power lifter, so his stuff's geared toward powerlifting.
Yeah.
But I bench pressed for years and way too much weight, and that's why now I have really bad shoulder problems because I was lifting weight that was not commensurate with my body structure.
Yeah.
I wasn't built for that kind of weight, and it tore me up. I was able to get it done. Everybody clapped, and now I can't even raise my arm up. But so the bench press for hockey, especially, stay away. It's pointless. Yeah. And
I know I sent you the video, and I tried it one day, the deadlift behind the back, behind your feet.
Well, did a great job, man. That's awesome.
That was cool. You really, it's kind of the ego buster a little bit too, because you can't use a whole lot of weight at first, right? You really have to master the movement. So
you got to stay tight, and you'll feel it more in your quads than you will in your glutes. Yeah. So cool. I'll have guys do regular deadlift, so like a tricep. Right. So you do 10 deadlifts, 10 Jefferson squats, and then 10 behind the heel.
Oh, so that's nothing new for you. I'd never seen behind the.
Oh no, we've been doing that for years. Yeah, so really? that's how. So try that next time. Do 10, go 5, 5, and 5. 5 regular deadlifts, spin it, do 5 Jeffersons, and then 5 from behind.
Right. I stay away from the regular deadlifts quite a bit right now. I feel like I'm really leaning out over my.
Yeah, you want to have a coach there for only one reason, to make sure that you're pushing from your heels and your butt.
Yeah, my problem is I don't do enough flexibility stuff. I don't stretch nearly enough. So my flexibility, like if you try to do like the clean and jerk or whatever, like you got to get your shoulders way back, right?
One of the things I'll tell people, there's 2 ways to deadlift. One's a regular grip, and the other one's a sumo style.
Yeah.
So the first one, a regular grip, your hands are outside your legs.
Yeah.
Sumo, you go wide, really wide. So it's a shorter lift because you're shorter now.
Yeah.
And your hands are on the inside. I would say if you're a little bit leery about deadlifting, go sumo. Yeah. Because it's less on your back, because you have less tendency to pitch forward.
Yeah, definitely. The other one too, if you've got long enough arms, is especially with the weights that got the handles on, or the little holes on them so you can grab them, is reach all the way out and grab the 245 pounders or whatever you got on. So you're lifting from the plates. I mean, that really works your lats and everything. Oh man,
grip strength too. Grip strength.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the hex bar is good too.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great.
Yeah, I think that's a safer way to really do a power move, right? Because you're right over top of it.
It is, yeah. But even there, you got to be careful. You don't want to, you want to stay in line right, with the weight. So if the weight is here, this is where your body wants to go. You don't want to go here.
Here's another one: farmer carries.
Those are great.
Yeah. So a farmer carry can be a lot of variations, right? I mean, you could have two different weighted weights, like dumbbells or whatever it is on each side, right? That kind of stuff. So the idea is while you're walking to be really engaging your core, correct? There's like some fashion to do that.
Yeah, and you have to use all your stabilizers. If you're doing single limb, lateral, you only have the weight on one side. Your other side has to compensate for your balance.
Yeah,
and that's really great because in sport you're usually on one leg. I mean, when you're jumping, you're going off of one leg. When you're striding, it's off of one leg. And if you're going to get bounced, you want to have that stabilizing strength. It's really important. Yeah.
Oh, how about the one where like you see they've had like a big 100-pound bag, a sandbag or whatever. You got to pick it up and carry it across the room. Oh man, that engages the core.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of the core, since I had this surgery, I haven't found a movement. I mean, that you don't engage your core.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's amazing because now I can feel it. Everything moves.
What a difference. So when I retired, I had like a lot of guys, a lot of people have a bulging disc in my back. And that was when I was getting the leg pain and all that. And I was like, okay, now the rest of my life, I'm going to have this. Since I've started working my core, like a lot of work on the Bosu ball and that stuff, I don't have a problem with my back at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. Most people like the very common injury for general population is L4, L5.
Yeah.
Slippage. And that's because you don't have any strength back there.
Yeah. Right.
And if you don't do any abs and if you get a little heavy on the front side, if you have some weight pulling on it, it's going to go. So we get too hung up on doing abs when they're great, but you got to also work your low back. Yeah. So there's symmetry there in the strength.
Yeah. Like I think my back is way stronger. I'm probably twice as strong as the chest and all that.
I'd rather have a stronger back than my abs. Absolutely. Yeah. But it's all, connected. So you got to work and you got to work your side, so with rotational stuff like wood choppers, Tom, where you take the cable and you come across your body like that. Yeah. Those are great. It's a lot of work for your core as well. Yeah.
It's the gym I'm at now. I hadn't seen it before. They had a thing where you sit and then there's a pad that comes across and you twist. It's the rotation machine. Ooh.
Those are great. And you could just take a band as well. Hook a band up to the door and just kind of turn.
Okay, sorry, don't forget to our friends are CIELO English. I think I'm saying her first name. It might be Cielo, but CIELO English. And her company is Live Well Yoga. So you can get her on. I really recommend it. Both of them fantastic people, very motivational, very informative too. A lot of she's really into a lot of stuff that I'm learning about the mind and the subconscious mind and everything. Man, I as I learn more, it's amazing. Like I just feel like, what was I thinking about all this time? Like going back and playing in the NHL, if I'd known more about training my mind, right? It's just like incredible.
Did you happen to see? I don't know if I forwarded it to you. Kenny Bigby, what he posted about endorphins.
Yes, I did that speech. Yes, I flipped by it and he was just talking. And I went back to it again to realize, wow, that's pretty cool. Really so explain that again. You talk about the endorphins.
Well, I'll paraphrase. So Kenny's talking about when you're running out of gas, running out of energy, and you're ready to quit, and that's that whole you got another 40% left mentality. But your dopamine, because you're hungry, right, keeps you going. So it goes back to when we had to hunt for food.
Right.
You're running out of calories because you haven't eaten in a few days, and the dopamine kicks in because now you see the prey and now you can get to it instead of giving up.
That's cool. I like that stuff. Oh, I like that too. Like that thought that your mind and your body is there to protect yourself too. Like it's got that protective mechanism. So if you're getting tired, that you're working out in the gym, and you want to do 12 reps and you get to the 8th one and it's going, oh no, you need to quit. You're tired, and train yourself to not listen to that, right? To just say, no, I'm not going to worry about 12. I'm just going to worry about 8. And then I'm going to worry about 9. And I'm worried about 10, right? And once you get that 12 and you do that over and over, I just believe you really strengthen your mind.
Absolutely.
So you're just used to it now. You're used to saying, okay, I'm going to be tired at 8, but I know I can do it. I've done it over and over. So.
And stay uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, I love that too. Getting out of that comfort zone. Oh,
I read a great quote. Again, I'm going to paraphrase. I don't know if I'm right, but this quote goes like, "I don't have any backup. There's no backup, so I have to do it."
Right.
No one's coming to help me with this last rep. I've got to do it.
Yes. Yeah. That's like what's the other one? Burn your boats, right? I think that was an old saying from some army where they were trying to take over an island. So the leaders burnt the boats. So the guys that were fighting on the island had no choice. They had to win.
Yeah, stay there and engage. fight. Yeah.
I tell you, I was so lucky. I've talked about this over and over too. I grew up on a farm, and that was the mentality of my father and grandfather. We couldn't afford to buy new equipment. We couldn't afford to hire anybody else. So they had to do it. They had to maintain the equipment. If something went wrong, even if they didn't know how to do it, they had to figure out how to do it. And it's just the way, it's the way they were growing up in that environment. Man, I just like
the best education you could get, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's the thing too. They didn't give long speeches or anything like that. They didn't lecture me. The only thing my father ever said to me, he says, "I cannot be outworked." I'll never forget him saying that. That was his source of pride. And nothing else. He's accomplished everything he accomplished because he just couldn't be outworked. So
that was ingrained in you. And then you speak about Robbie Ftorek, how he wouldn't refuse to be outworked. And I think if you look at people of high achievement in any, whether it's athletics or whatever, they're just not going to. You're not going to beat me.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, sure, the guys are smart. I mean, the basketball player's got to be tall, obviously, but most cases, like I'm very fortunate to play Wayne Gretzky. He was not the best skater. And you talked about body type before. He had no upper body. Yeah, his legs and ass were huge because he skated so much. But it just like he really wanted to be the best player in the National Hockey League, and it really wasn't any special skill. So
Johnny Mac told me that in camp. I wasn't there yet, but he'd come in on the 195-pound bench rep thing. He'd lay down, touch the bar, go, "I'm done." Made the team somehow. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
You know, and then you've seen the other guys too. This is a football quote, but built like Tarzan, play like Jane.
Yeah. There's the funny in the book On Thin Ice. Steve Vickers had a funny line about one of his teammates. So just, people don't know, On Thin Ice was a book that was written after they went to the finals in 1979. I didn't realize this, that the team, MSG, the Ranger team, actually wanted this guy to write this book. Larry Ratso-Sloman.
Oh, yeah. Great book. Yeah.
So the season after they'd gone to the finals, he told them before the season started, "I'm going to follow you around everywhere, bars, restaurants, games, practice, and I'm going to write everything, whatever I want." And they all said, "Oh, okay." Some of the stuff that's in the book, Steve Vickers said about Ray Markham. Ray Markham was a big guy, was up and down from the Miami.
He was a scout for a while, wasn't he? With
yes,
Jersey, I think he was a scout.
Yeah. And Steve Vickers, who was funny, really funny, that quick-witted guy, says he's strong enough to lift the tractor, but he's not smart enough to start it. And he wrote, so this guy, there's some other stuff that's a lot worse than that too. He wrote everything in the book. Now these guys are all teammates and everything too, right? So it's
so there's a friend of mine who played in the NHL, and you know, and he admits, he goes, "Guys just asked me, do you play afraid or scared?" Yeah,
that's good.
And then it was the guy the guy you drifted. The scouting report on him has all the tools. Has all the tools but no toolbox.
Toolbox, yeah. What is it? The elevator doesn't go to the top floor.
Exactly. Lights are on, no one's on. Yeah.
Hockey sayings. You know what's funny though too? Like now they talk about the show, like the NHL's a show. We never called it that when I played. I don't recall ever saying that. Like the guys who come up for the minors and they have this other language. I think that we were talking the same way. We just never talked to it.
Think about it. Every player has his own Instagram account now, so they're their own little social media.
Very true.
Yeah,
we were laughing about it on the show, on the Thursday show with Greshner and Maloney and Patrick and Melnick. We were laughing. Thank God we didn't have social media back then.
Oh God, yeah. You know, there's on Instagram. You know, you scroll through and there's a young guy playing like a hockey player, and he's at different events, like say a wedding or something like that, and he's talking to the bride and groom, but like how you would talk in the locker room.
Oh,
yeah.
Like chiclets and
We
never called it. We may call it chiclets, but we didn't call it hair lettuce. I don't think we did. Isn't that what they call
it? How about what's the other show that everybody kind of
One Fry Short of Avenue? That's a good one, Danny. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. There's a new show, Shoresy or something now. I know John Morasti, the kid that was a fighter, he's on. But there was the two guys that they're playing like from Ontario. I forget the name of the town. Letterkenny. Letterkenny. The Letterkenny videos. You know who they are. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But there's some short videos. It's freaking hysterical.
They're doing all the hockey talk.
Yeah. Well, they're farm boys. Boys, and their sister's dating a couple guys with the flow and the whole bit.
Right.
You know, and the interaction. I'll send it to you. It's really funny.
Well, that was the thing for me. Like growing up on the farm, a lot of the kids that I played with, were hockey and lacrosse, were all from the city. So I was, during the summer, I'm baling hay and everything. Not that I wanted to bale hay, but I had to. And I came back just jacked, right? And all the rest of the kids are sitting around not doing anything during the summer. And that's really how I progressed because when I first started, I couldn't skate at all, but they picked me for teams because I was a big, strong farm boy, pounding people. And yeah, I remember one time one of my teammates. Again, it's another thing. I wanted to go to hockey camps because my dream was to play in the National Hockey League, and I was going to go to camps during the summer. My parents weren't forcing me to go. It just something I just felt like that's what I had to do to help get in the National Hockey League. One of my teammates asked me, he says, "Do you have to go to camps?" And I remember answering and saying, "Yes, I have to go." But he was asking me like, "Are my parents making me go?" And I was answering, "Yes, I have to go because I want to play in the National Hockey League." So it's funny.
Well,
The difference in the work mentality was
absolutely
totally different. Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen so many talented guys that just didn't want to put the work in.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine that him and I were great friends. I haven't seen each other in years, but we played lacrosse together, played hockey together. We both quit lacrosse at the same time, so we concentrated on hockey. We were really tight. And he went off to play junior hockey and didn't make it to the NHL. Was never drafted. He was drafted really high in the junior draft. And I saw him. I think my career was done, and I was back. He was in the Toronto area. I went to visit him, and he was so disappointed in himself because he was looking at me playing the NHL, and he was probably more talented. He says, "Man, I just didn't put enough into it." I felt bad for him because we were really good friends, and I wanted him. We were both pulling for each other. We both had the dream of playing in the National Hockey League.
Well, the thing is too, like, and I've had with professional boxers, I've said, listen, you're fighting a professional. You're both professional. Now it comes down to conditioning.
Yeah.
Game plan and conditioning. Yeah. Get your game plan together and being able to execute it. You don't ever want to lose a fight because you're not in shape.
Right. Like for me, even mentally, like we talked before, I'm way better mentally now than I was then. But I still I had mastered really like calming myself down. Like, I would have a lot of fun in the locker room before the game. Other guys are getting all wired up and everything, but I would have fun in the locker room because I had to kind of clear my mind and kind of react. Yeah.
That's a huge component of it.
Yeah.
Knowing that you put the work in, so you don't have to.
Yes. Totally. You know what? You're giving yourself a license to be confident, right? Because you know
like that backhand pass on the far wall that you're going to kill that PK. You know you're going to do it.
Totally. Yes, that's very true too. Yeah, that is it. Just I wish I knew. Man, I had a great talk with I won't mention his name, but an old teammate of mine. His son is an up and coming player. So we had a great talk the other day. We talked about getting out of the comfort zone and everything, and he was really into it. And I was thinking to myself, wait, I wish I had somebody, or I had taught myself that stuff back then, because he was really soaking it up. Like I was talking about getting out of the comfort zone. He's going, I never even thought about that. That's amazing. And he even do the show with that hypnotist, Jackie. And so he wanted her number, so he might do some hypnotized as well. So,
and again, it gets back to you got to want it, obviously, and you got to be so. There was an interview with Floyd Mayweather a while back when he was still fighting. He was kind of complaining about his father not letting him have a childhood. He was always in the gym. Right. His father's response was, "Yeah, but look where you are right now."
Yeah, that's a fine line too, right? Like, who was the quarterback that his father was a famous quarterback from years ago that was drafted high?
It was Todd Marinovich. His father was Marv Marinovich.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube, there's a really couple good documentaries on it. That whole story. Marv had played for the Oakland Raiders, and he started to groom Todd from the moment he could walk.
Yeah.
And, like food, nutrition, lifting, training, and it didn't work out because, for obvious reasons, you got to let a kid be a kid.
Right. So there's that fine line where you got to push them, but you still have to be their passion still, right?
At some point they got to grab the wheel.
Yeah.
And go.
Yeah. Like with Gretzky, I think it was more the father made the ice available to him, building the rink in the backyard, but I don't think he really pushed him that much. It was more if Wayne wanted to play, he went and played. Right?
I don't know if it's a true story, but I heard there would be twigs all over that little sheet, and he would leave them there. His dad would leave them there, wouldn't clean it, because then Gretz had a stick handle around. And
I did see a documentary of Wayne. He was talking about how he got to where he was. It was all like three successful people. I think Jerry Rice was the other, maybe Pele was the other guy, and they were talking about how they got to where they got. And he talked about how his brothers, who he loved very much, was very complimentary toward him, they had all the same access to the same stuff that he did, but they just didn't really want it that bad. He said really wasn't anything wrong with that. It's just they just didn't want it that bad. So
yeah. And you could identify those kids. I had coached a kid that played with my son in high school, and he was a AAA player. But every time I went to pick him up, if we're going to practice or work out, he's out in the front with a ball on a stick.
Oh.
Every time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he got up in the morning, and his day was hockey. Go to school, get home, and then it's just hockey. So that and you could see, like, when we had practice, I would gather the guys around and say, guys, listen, he didn't just wake up and be able to do all this today, what you just saw out here.
Yeah.
He puts the work in. You got to put the work in.
Totally. Yeah, you can make yourself a better athlete. There's no question about that. The mental work, physical work, absolutely. All right, brother. So you're going to go see the doctor on Thursday for your little surgery?
Yeah. Get my oil checked.
A lot of pain?
Yeah, it's been a little difficult.
Yeah, I noticed you moving around there a little bit, like, oh.
Yeah, sideball, A pocket.
Why do we laugh about that? I don't know why we laugh about the pain thing.
Well, because we're crazy, I guess. I don't know. I mean, but I think part of it is it's just how you deal with it. You know?
I know. It's just we
know
we're going to survive, right? Like people talk about how athletes, or particularly hockey players, can withstand pain more. I think it's just that we're just so used to getting hurt, and we know we're going to recover, right?
Absolutely, and I also feel like you're a big guy, but I'm sure you got smoked every once in a while. Absolutely. But you didn't want that. You didn't want that guy to know.
Yeah,
totally. So you stayed on the ice for another 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, this is a funny story. I think it's my rookie year in the NHL, maybe second year. Ray Bourque, we're in Boston, killing penalties, so 5-on-3. And, most places that you have a high forward out there, now you got 2D down low. So I'm one of those 2D down low, pucks in our end. Ray Bourque's got the puck at the blue line. So he usually was pretty good about shooting the puck low. So I went down to block the shot. You know how it is when you go down on one knee. That knee, there's a gap there between the shin pad and where the pant is. He hit me with a shot there from the point and just burned. It hit it so hard it bounced up over the glass. So now the whistle blows. And he's looking at me. I know he's looking at me. He wants to see if he hurt me. And I was not, it was just burning too, I'm sweating inside like more. It didn't make a grimace at all. Puck goes back again. He goes to do the same thing. I go down again, hits me in the exact same spot. So if you've ever been hit after you just got bruised something, and he's looking at me again, and I would not move. And he then happened again. He wouldn't shoot it again because he knew I was going to go down. If I'd shown him that I was hurt, then he was going to shoot it again. But I wouldn't.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's right. That's funny. We had a conversation about that about 3 or 4 years ago. He didn't remember the play, but we played an alumni game back to back up in Boston down here. And I was telling him about that stuff, and he was dying laughing. He's stubborn.
He's a good guy, right?
Yeah, good guy. Quiet, very well respected. Like he walks in, the other guys are all joking around. He's having fun, but you just tell he's at that different level.
He's a little bit reserved.
Yeah. I was playing on defense with Darius Kasparaitis.
Yeah, that's a different one.
Ray's carrying the puck through. The game's in Boston, so Ray's carrying the puck. And they both played these games enough, let Ray go through, right? Let him have the breakaway. The crowd's going to love it. Well, Steve Valiquette's in net. He's standing on his head. So we let him go in to score. Steve Valiquette wouldn't let us score. He stoned him. We're like, Valley.
Good job.
Yeah, we made ourselves look bad so that you can make yourself look good.
Exactly, yeah. Now we just look like shit. You look great.
Yeah, totally. All right, great to see you again. Well, good luck with everything. Yeah. After we've had Phil Esposito on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, great to see you again. Good luck. Thursday, you're going into the doctor?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good deal.
All
right. Go get him. Everybody have a good day.